Israel gotten permission from Saudi Arabia to use their airspace in case they wanted to attack Iran's nuclear facilities.
Right.
And so I think Yemen is playing a bigger part in the ultimate Zionist goal, and what that is war with Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the major reason why they're supporting terrorism in Yemen at this point, is for the ultimate goal that they've wanted for years.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tim, do you think Yemen's situation will be the same as Syria and Iraq and will face the same fights between the government and the terrorists?
I'm unsure about whether it'll be the same as in Syria or Iraq, being that the resistance is very, very strong, and Yemen being so close in proximity with Saudi Arabia, there will be less obstacles for the Saudi government to send their paid Takfiri monkeys inside Yemen to fight with the resistance. And the forces who are loyal to the former government of Yemen. But we know historically that there's always been a very big resistance in Yemen, and we're hoping that it will be the graveyard of the invaders at this time, all the Takfiris and the Saudi government. And that's what I believe is going to happen, no matter how much, even with Saudi Arabia having American weapons, they've been bombing for 54 days. They haven't been able to stamp out the resistance, even and with Al Qaeda on their side. So, and fighting with the resistance fighters and popular forces and the army that's loyal to the popular forces.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Israel has also defended the Saudi attacks on Yemen. What are the similarities between the murder of Israel in Gaza and the murder of the Saudis in Yemen?
Well, similarities. Both are Zionist occupied territories, and both governments are Zionists, and they both bomb indiscriminately in civilian areas and murder. So, to be honest with you, whenever I think about Saudi and Israeli governments condoning each other or complicity with each other's crimes, I actually think of a chapter in the Quran, Surat al-Ma'idah, 51, verse 51 comes to mind when I think of Saudi Arabia. They're allied against Muslims, their own brothers and sisters. So that would make Saudi Arabia's government a Zionist government. And that's the biggest similarities, that, and they're also oppressors and murderers. And they both support terrorism. And we know that Israel supports Jabal al-Nusra and the Golan Heights in Syria, well, occupied Syria. Well, and so they both support terrorism. They're both Zionists, and they both murder people indiscriminately, innocent people.
Murderers of children also.
Right, right. And it doesn't matter, men, women, or children of any age. They both murder.
Right. Thank you. Some believe that bombing the Shia mosque in the east of Saudi Arabia by ISIS was the revenge of Saudi regime because the citizens of this region disagreed the government in attacking Yemen. How will the protests of the people of eastern Saudi Arabia end? Would the Saudi society rise to take their human rights back and give freedom and democracy like the Yemenis did? What would be the result?
I think the bomb attack on the Shia mosque in the east of the Arabian Peninsula was not only to punish them for not supporting our strikes on Yemen, it's to punish ongoing Shia protests in the east of that country as well. And I believe if they keep pursuing this policy of militarily and politically punishing the Shias of the east of the peninsula, it will end in a mass armed rebellion, I think, because the Wahhabists in al-Saud have survived so many crises. This would, I think, this even with all the control of the oil reserves they have and the money and arms they can access from their allies, I still think it would be a mass armed rebellion, which could go two ways. It could inspire their fellow Sunnis to fight al-Saud, or with another scenario, which is unfortunately likely, it could yet ignite another sectarian war on the peninsula. But I do think if al-Saud keeps persecuting those who support Yemen and those in the east of the country who are Shia and are just wanting their civil liberties, it will end in a greater armed resistance and opposition to that. And that would be my answer to that question.
Thank you so much. Do you think the attack of Saudi Arabia on Yemen can benefit the stability of the Al Saud regime?
To be honest, I can't see how it would. It's just going to turn not only more Shias against them, which there are already plenty of Shias bitterly opposed to al-Saud, but I think it will alienate more moderate Sunnis than not the Wahhabists, but the more modern Sunnis in Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, I think Saudi Arabia's power comes from its alliance not only with Israel but America and Britain. That I think it is their financial and military support which has kept al-Saud going this far. I think this is the third emirate on the peninsula they have tried controlling, and the first two monarchies or emirates of al-Saud fell, and I think the third one has lasted longer than many thought it would.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for your answers.
You're welcome.
Ali, do you think Yemen's situation will be the same as Syria and Iraq and will face the same fights between the government and the terrorists?
Well, about that, I should tell that it is already something like that because, in Yemen, the people are somehow trying to, oppose and fight with the government, which was somehow supported by Saudis. So there is somehow a fight against the government. But if I want to know that it would be exactly like Syria or like Iraq, well, I should say that maybe it would be like that because in Syria and in Iraq there is a difference. The difference is that the government is against U.S., against Saudis, and against Israel. And the militants who are trying to, fight the government are trying to bring the chaos to the countries. But in Yemen, it is somehow vice versa, which the militants and also the people are trying to fight with the government installed by Saudis. But anyway, the conflict will be going on until the whole country come to some kind of, solution and resolution. And in all of these countries, it would be and it should be finished by some kind of election or something like that. So the final resolution would be provided.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Abu Ali,
Yes.
there's a question for you. Are the Saudis brave enough to fulfill ground attacks on Yemen? And if so, what will be waiting for them?
Okay, a simple answer to this question. Saudi army, well known, they are the most coward army in the world on the ground. We have witnessed they run away with their heavy tanks from simple rifles. We have witnessed that we witnessed that in 2009 war, and we witnessed that a few days ago. The Yemeni army and the civilian forces have attacked many Saudi borders posts, and we saw how the army ran away like rats. They have no moral at all. That's why they try to bring army from different countries. They thought, the Saudi authority thought, they can buy an army, foreign armies by the dollars.
Yes, yes, thank you. Ali, could you please answer the same question? Are the Saudi, did you hear the question?
Well, part of it.
Okay. Are the Saudis brave enough to fulfill ground attacks on Yemen? And if so, what will be waiting for them?
Again, it had breaking up. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's because of the bad internet we're having tonight.
Yeah.
Are the Saudis brave enough to fulfill ground attacks on Yemen? And if so, what will be waiting for them?
Well, about this point, I should tell that so far Saudis didn't have this, enough courage to do that, because if they start to some kind of ground attack, they would bring lots of, threat to their own country. And, so far they are just trying to, put fire in this conflict by airplanes and, throwing all the bombs, and which would be somehow safer for their own country. But if they start, somehow some ground attack, it would rise up. It would end up in rising up the other countries who are supporting Yemenis, and they would somehow, maybe, they would involve in this fight. So I don't think that Saudis would do that, because the losses that Saudis would suffer from such act, it would be much more than the benefits. So from my idea, I think that they would do that. But if they do such a, if they start such an attack, well, definitely they would be super vulnerable, and they would suffer from all the losses that they would, maybe even the people of Saudis, I mean the people of KSA would rise up and oppose this act, because they would waste all the money and budget and the supply of their own country and some fight that is not their fight. And well, in that case, it would bring up some other chaos in their own country. So this is my idea about this ground attack.
Thank you. So after all, do you think the attack of Saudi Arabia on Yemen can benefit the stability of the Al Saud regime?
Well, this I just should tell that so far I have only seen that this attack was somehow opposed by the people of Saudis. Either they are Sunni, either Shia, either Takfiris. And if this process goes on, I think it would definitely end up in something like those things that happened maybe in former Soviet. I mean, the strategies and the process and the thoughts of a government would be so wrong that eventually the people would rise up and eventually they would totally try to change the government. So this government of Saudis, the only supporters of this government are Israelis and USA. And these two governments have proved many times in the history that they would never ever keep up supporting their puppets to the end. And they would definitely, let them go and leave them in one point eventually. Just like the same thing that happened to Saddam in Iraq. Just like even the same thing that happened to the other countries in the region, and the same would happen to Saudis. So they should think about the after effects of some acts, because finally they would lose the support of UK, of USA, of Israel, and they would be alone with some people who are totally, against their strategies, against their policy, and even they have lost lots of their budget and supplies on some fight, which was not their fight. So I think if this process goes on, it will only bring, failure to Saudi government.
Thank you. Mr. Abu Ali, what do you think about this question? Do you think the attack of Saudi Arabia on Yemen can benefit the stability of the Al Saud regime?
I believe it does not benefit at all, because actually there was many of the Saudi royal family princes against the attack on Yemen, because they knew they can't have victory over Yemen people. That's why, for example, Prince Mukran, the king deputy, has been removed because he was against the war on Yemen.